Shaq-Fu was released at the end of 1994 for the Mega Drive and Genesis and SNES. It would later be ported to the Game Gear, Game Boy and Amiga in 1995. As the title suggests, the game stars the former professional basketball player Shaquille Shaq O'Neal as the character's player take control of. Nowadays that might seem really odd, but at the time Shaq was a huge deal. Commonly accepted as one of the worst video games ever made, such is the infamy of Shaq-Fu, that many have a negative impression about it without even playing it. Truth be told, a lot of the complaints regarding it are exaggerated. It's not a good game, by any count, but the worst game ever? No, that's not a fair summation. Regardless though, it is a terrible fighting game. Shaq-Fu is a 2D fighting game where the players take on the role of Shaq as he enters a dojo while on his way to a charity basketball game in Japan. Inside, Shaq is mistaken for someone else and sent to another dimension to rescue a child named Nezu from the evil money Set Ra. In the second world, Shaq must defeat opponents in traditional fighting style en route to facing off against Set Ra. It is as straightforward as that. Move Shaq to a location and get ready to fight. Unfortunately, this is where the problems start. Fighting in Shaq-Fu, the most important aspect of the game, is pretty bad. Shaq is slow and clunky to move, making getting closer to your opponents a real challenge. Many can and will use projectiles to attack you from distance, forcing you to constantly jump to avoid and get closer. You'll spend matches trying to leap closer and closer, only to have your opponents move as soon as you get there. It's incredibly frustrating, as considering Shaq's size, he doesn't have a lot of reach with his punch and kicks. Gameplay works like most fighting games, utilising the directional pad alongside buttons to pull off special moves and attacks. These are very limited though and rarely worth the time and effort put in trying to work out what combinations works. You'll find yourself sticking to basic moves that just do the job. Beat your opponent twice and you'll have won, but the difficulty spikes fairly quickly and with limited continues you'll be restarting Shaq-Fu many times. As a fighting game, it fails to get the basic fundamentals right. The decent visuals, in particular the character sprites, can't hide that fact. It's not unplayable, so far from the worst game ever made, but it is easy to see why after playing it many consider it so. Ultimately, it's just not fun. Just go play Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat instead.